In the last video, we had a quick look into Xcode and how the different areas work and what they do. And if you don't know how to get here, you can, either you open up your recent project, or you can also create a new project, and therefore you would go here to File, New Project, and then you could set up the stuff to get here. But for now, you should be all right if you just followed along. And let's get into our main storyboard. So we have this main storyboard thing, and if I click on it, well, if I double click on it, then a new window pops up. That's not necessarily what I want. If I just single click on it, then I get this little view. Let me scroll out a little bit so that you can see it better. So here again, we have another tab on the left-hand side, which if I open it up, it shows me all the elements that are in my view controller scene. So this whole thing here is my view controller scene. And within my view controller scene, I have this view controller. So if I click on it, it opens up here. And at the same time, I can see additional information here on the right-hand side, on the utility side. So I can do some settings here and change the general view of my app. And let me zoom out again. And if I, as example, I want to change the size of this thing, because for now it just has this random size. It's neither the size of an iPhone, nor it is the size of an iPad. It's something in between, and that's exactly what it tries to be. But I can go here on simulated metrics. So I click on this view controller thing right here. You see it's tapped, or it's chosen, it's highlighted. And then on the top right hand side, it's really important to see to have this attribute inspector clicked on, otherwise you will not see the simulated metrics. So there you can choose invert, freeform, whatever, all these different sizes. And I'm just gonna go for the iPhone 4.7 inch size, which is the size of the iPhone 6. So that's the latest iPhone version for now. And then I can see that it automatically changed the shape of my interface here, of this this little area. So now it fits the size of the iPhone. So let's just drag something into our view. Let's drag in something, and we can see here on the right hand side on the bottom, we can see, or we can choose between very many different objects that we can just simply drag and drop into our scene. So what I would like to enter there or add there is a label. So let's just create or drag this label in, and I can just drop it anywhere in here within this view controller. But depending on where I am, you see I can get these dotted lines, and those lines, they indicate, as example, whether I am at the center, whether I am at a good spot. And here, this is, as example, a good area to put it, well, not to put it further, further up left, or left up left, yeah. Otherwise, you wouldn't, the label would be in a not such a good spot to see. But for me, I'm just gonna put it in the center for now. So there we have it. We have our label. And as you can see, I can simply drag around, and I can again reposition it and put it in the center as example. And here on the right hand side, when I click on the label, you see that things have changed. So now I see the label, and I can change loads of settings here. So as example, I could change the text. It could be attributed. You can see a little difference there. Then I can put it to label. I add to plain. I leave it at plain for now. Then I can change the text that is in there. So let's just enter silly button app. So that's how I will call my app for now. Then, as you see, I can change the color. So I could change it to yellow, which doesn't look really good. So it's really good to stay for black for now. You can play around with the colors here. You can choose any color that you have in the recently used colors. Probably it will not be so many for you. And otherwise you can click on other, and this spectrum will open up. So you can choose between different areas. As example here, these apple colors like magenta, green, orange, and so on. You can choose all of those. Then you can also choose between loads of trillions and zillions of colors. So just so you know, I will stay at black. I'm fine with black. Then I can change the font, not only the font looks, but also the font size by just clicking here on this button. And I want it to be, let's say 30. 30 is the size. And now, of course, you see that the size of my label is a bit too small. So let's put it to the right size and centralize it again. Now I want the text to be centered. I can just change the alignment here. Here, if I have text that can be multiple lines, I can choose how many lines it should be. One is a good amount. If you want to have an unlimited amount of lines, then you can go to 0. Then behavior, you can enable it or disable it. Then you can highlight the text, and that has a little impact on how it can look like. Then yeah, you can just go ahead and go through the settings here, change some stuff, add some shadows, change it to highlighted, and then also here the alpha, you can make it more, yeah, you can make it so people can see through it, so more transparent, but I'll leave it at 1 now. So you can see you have loads of settings. I'll not go into everything for now. It's good that we have this label here, so that's all right for now. And what I want to have in this app as well is another label. So I want to have a label which is at the center. So here's the center. You can see the dotted line helps me out with that. And this one should have a higher size or a bigger size. And at the same time, I want this one to go towards the border here. So there's an inner border, so that's the outer border, and then there's an inner border, which is a good border to use. So you shouldn't use usually the outer border because it's difficult to read and it doesn't look good on the iPhone. And then let's put this one centered as well. So for now, this is good for me. That's the basic of the application that we want to have. And it's really just going to be a silly button app. And in the next video, we're going to add the buttons for the silly button app. But for now, let's just test it on our device. And for that, I can go here and then build and then run the current scheme. So let's just go ahead and build it. So now it says running first app on iPhone. And if I get that one over, you see that here is an iPhone which starts off. So it's really a simulator for the iPhone, and there we have it, silly button app and label. So that's how it would look like on the iPhone 6. If I feel like changing that, I can change here and choose to simulate it on another version or on another iPhone or iPad. So I could also look at how this looks like, let's say, on the iPad 2, and I would directly see that it looks very different. So that's also something we will have to take care of in the future to look how we can make this app universal, so that the style is very universal and looks good on any kind of application. And for now, we can simply do that with add missing constraints. So if I click here, I clicked on the label, and then I can go here on that button and add missing constraints. So now it added some constraints for me, and then it says, okay, well, let me go back. Here I have this red arrow here. It says that there is a warning or even an arrow, and it then says silly button also needs some constraints. So I can click on that one and then also add the missing constraints. So then the arrow disappears, and now this layout should be fine on different devices. So that's just a very simple example of how this can be achieved, but we will create more complex apps where it's really important to do that. So for now, we saw how this one looks. We can see it in our simulator. We can even use the hardware button as example here to go to our home screen. So click on home, and there you see you have the home screen and all the applications. It's like a normal iPhone where you can just play around with it. So that's good for now. In the next video, we will add some buttons and start with some further functionality. So see you there.